Hey, it's Dr. Bob Flower with your Tuesday, December 11th Master Pattern Report. Okay, so how did we do last week? We did pretty good. We had a hit on our silver last week and on the fourth, and on the oil we got a little jump, not that much, but it was a move, and the market, of course, is bouncing around like crazy, getting ready to do something. We think that it'll be an up move as soon as they announce that fiscal cliff mess that they think that they're going to resolve, and then down. Okay, because people are then going to realize that it's a joke. Um, and there are a lot of things happening. Of course, you may have heard that the Treasury is now ready to issue more buybacks on the defaulted loans. This is never going to end, folks. 50 billion a month wasn't enough, and they're talking about inflation. I don't think so. I don't think so. The only inflation that we're going to have is when they have to hyperinflate to pay the debt, and that won't happen until interest rates start up again, or the credit of the United States gets so bad that we'd be forced to pay higher rates on the outstanding debt. But before that happens, they'll keep the printing presses going all night, and that's the hyperinflation, and that's the whole mess. We're sort of in a real catch-22 at this point, and everybody's playing games. Personally, I think with this fiscal cliff, I think the Republicans are headed in the right direction. I think they ought to acquiesce, perhaps get the Democrats to increase the taxable limit from 250 to say 500 or 600,000, and then give them whatever they want. They want to do other tax increases, give it to them, because you know that they're not going to cut spending. And the public is very concerned about the income part of it, but they're more concerned about the spending part. So if the Republicans say, look, we did our part, we acquiesced to that, now the Democrats and the president are not coming forth, they're not being honest, or they're not being smart about this whole thing, they're not doing their part, and I think that the favorability then turns against the administration. Now, that's if something else doesn't happen. You remember I told you a couple of months ago that there was something cooking with Obama, and I didn't know what it was, and that there's some talk behind the scenes. There's a report, and you may be able to find this on the internet, but there's a report that there's a doctor in California whose name is Orly Taitz, Taitz. You may want to check that name out. Who's filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court of California against some Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and other leaders, and the president. And there's two bases to her lawsuit. That's with a number of others who have run for public office. First is that they have ascertained that there was 1.5 million fraudulent votes in the state of California, and they're asking that the court address this matter so as to negate the election results, saying that these 1.5 million votes are null and void, which of course would throw the whole election into a cocked hat. But the second part is even more interesting. The second part ascertains that President Obama committed fraud on several accounts. One was on a Social Security number that he uses based in Connecticut. And they discovered that this is not his Social Security number. And that there were 7 investigators involved in a number of fraudulent documents concerning the president, none the least of which was Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Now, whether or not you want to give these people credibility, these are 7 professional people who are in law enforcement and who are investigators. And each on their own has found that there is good contention for fraud. And that's part of this whole lawsuit, is to demonstrate this. In addition to which, the assistant city clerk for Hawaii states that there is no birth certificate on register in the city. I mean, you know, this is getting, you know, I hate to bring up this Bertha stuff again, but, you know, it just don't want to go away. Further, the Kenyan Minister of Health has attested that Obama was born in Kenya. In addition to this, there's been evidence found that when attending schools in Indonesia, he stated his birthplace as Kenya, and that he was a citizen of Indonesia, which makes him a naturalized American somehow, some way. And lastly, in his 1991 biography, he had reported to his agent that he was born in Kenya. So, look, I'm not going to say that this is nonsense, or, you know, it's conspiracy or whatever. But worse things have happened. And I'll give you 2 primary examples that in areas that occurred in history just like this. Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler both had the same issues as we're seeing here. So you may want to follow this. I mean, this is going to be, if nothing else, a very interesting lawsuit. And remember that name, Dr. Orly Taitz, T-A-I-T-Z. And the case is, if you're interested in the case, I'll have Janet posted on our website so you can refer to it. Now, further, I've been, while meeting with people who are interested in formulating this new third party, I've been doing some research on what's going on with the with our Congress and our Senate and our President. And it seems to me that there's a lot of laws being broken here that are not being addressed. A small one, for instance, just a baby one, is we have not had a budget in 4 years. That's against the Constitution. These people are violating their office, and as such, they should be treated as rejects of their representation. And I understand that one of the few ways, if any, of bringing an action against them, and you're going to love the second part of this. The first part is to file a writ of mandamus with the United States Supreme Court, which in effect would force them to create a budget, to do their job. Okay? Okay. But where is the recourse against the fact that these people have openly and notoriously misrepresented the United States of America and its people, and have openly negated their responsibilities? Are you ready for this? The answer I got back from a constitutional attorney is to achieve a court order that agrees with those standings, which would enable and justify revolution. Did you hear what I said? Now, that may be a very far reach, and revolution does not necessarily mean that we pick up guns, but it certainly means that the country would then be thrown into chaos, and reconstitution would be in order. Now I know this is, this sounds wild and whatnot, but in these days, if you don't think and you don't keep an open mind as to any possibility, you're headed for some deep dark stuff. And I'm telling you again, watch your money. Move your money around. Make sure it's in some sort of safe vehicle, one that's immediately available. And banks are not necessarily immediately available. Look at your agreement with your savings certificates, right? And you'll see that they don't necessarily have to give you your money on demand. It could take them up to a week to give you your money, and by that time, if there's any sort of government move, it may be too late. And you're going to see an example of this in France, the way the wealthy people are moving out because of their fear of the 75% tax rate, and in your other countries. So these are very interesting times. December 21st is right around the corner, and I think, if nothing else, we're going to see some dramatic changes in the way we live and conduct our lives. Dramatic. Strangely, this market is headed up, and it's going to continue up before it heads down. And I'm not that convinced that the downward move is going to be as great as we initially thought, at least this time. It may be a hit, but I don't think that we're going to be looking at huge drop here, like more than 20%, if that. Your gold and silver, it's in neutral ground to down for another week, maybe 2 weeks tops. But I see it bouncing back around Christmas and just after Christmas, like I've said before. So don't be afraid if you want to jump in here and buy some more. Fine, that's what we're doing, and I like the chances for a higher gold price by the end of the year. Okay, we're going to bring you some more stuff as we uncover and watch this California case, and I'll be reporting to you next week. Have a good one.